Hello, in this video I would like to talk about Python virtual environments. And one might ask, why do I need a Python virtual environment? So let's talk about that. Now, you might have used Python very successfully on many different projects, but may often have come across a place where a different library is required by different applications, and if you upgrade to one, the other gets affected. So let's see that in action. So you have your computer, and you may have Python, let's just say Python 3.8 install, Python 2.7 is installed. You have different applications using either the same Python or different Python installations, but let's say that this is using these two applications are using Python 3.8, and this may require a particular package of NumPy, and let's just say that this requires 1.2.0 and this requires 1.2.2.2. So suppose if your application 1 is using, and if you install and upgrade to the latest version of NumPy, which may happen to be 1.2.2 or 22.2, this application may be happy, but on the other hand, this application may break because it may not have upgraded all its internal things to the latest version of NumPy. On the other hand, if you were to downgrade it, this application will break. So the way how you would resolve this is you create what's known as Python virtual environment. In this Python virtual environment, you would create a virtual environment. Let's say you call this virtual environment as project 1, and this has project 2, and it need not necessarily be a virtual environment. Basically derives from the base installation of certain 3.8, or you can also install another version of let's say another project requiring 2.7 may require the same version of libraries from this project as well. So you would create each of these applications, and you would create what's known as you activate each of these projects by calling activate, and then activate project 1, project 2, and such, and you would install using your pip whatever the packages that you need. For example, you would install pip install NumPy 1.2.0, and you would run your applications app 1 here, and you would do the same thing by installing a different application of NumPy, and your applications are happy, and you have isolated the environments and specifically installing these libraries in each of the projects. One beautiful thing about this is after you are done with this project, you can run a command called pip freeze to freeze all the packages that you have used in this application and capture it in a file, so that you can recreate the same packages on a different library. So that's just the essence of what the virtual environment. Let's see it in action. So first of all, if you want to use the virtual environment, you need to install the virtual env. I might have already installed it. If not, it would install that. After you install that, let's say that let's take a look at all the packages that I have installed without doing anything at all. If I were to take a look at that, I have tons and tons of packages on my base Python installation. Maybe some of them I need it, maybe some of them I don't need it. So what I will do, I will create these different virtual environments for project 1 and project 2. What I prefer to do to create all these virtual environments in a specific directory called env in my home directory, or in any of the locations of your choice, maybe in a specific place where you may share the location with the other machines as well. So I've already created that directory. If I were to go there, there's nothing in the directory, as you can see. So in order for me to create this virtual environment, I would say virtual env project 1, and that if you see that project 1 gets created, and I will just also say that I will create project 2. And if you list the directory, there are 2 projects that got created. Now we also talked about creating a virtual environment from another Python installation. So this is creating all the virtual environments from my default Python, which is located in user local bin Python. But now I can also create a virtual environment, for example, on a different installation. In this particular case, maybe I have an installation of Python 2.7. So I didn't give it a name, so I'll call it as Py 2.7. So if I list that, I have project 1 that's based off of my user local bin Python, and this is specifically based off of my user bin Python 2.7. So I have 3 environments. I can use any one of them for my choice. So let's just say that I want to use project 1. In order to use the project 1 installation, I need to activate that environment. The command for that is source project 1 bin and activate. When I run that, you will see that my project 1 is active. That is shown by a prompt right next to you, right here. That's project 1 is active. So now if you were to say which pip, it shows the same pip, and then if you say which Python, it will show you the Python that you are using as a default one. Now here you can install pip. Let's just take a look at the pip list of all the packages that I have installed on this. I don't have much, I just have few packages that got installed here. So let's go ahead and install pip install numpy, maybe 1.2.0. Okay, now it's installing numpy 1.2, and then if I were to say pip list, I would see numpy of that particular version got installed. So I can use this environment for running my application 1, and after I'm done, what I can do is to pip freeze to list all the packages that I have installed. So if I want to capture this, I can go ahead and then put it in a requirements.txt, and then that gets captured. That you can actually send it off to your friend, or you can just store it here in if you want to create the same environment in a different machine, you would take this requirements.txt, you would install all the packages that's listed here, and you would have the same exact environment for your application. So now if you want to deactivate it, you would say deactivate. That deactivated your application. Now you're out. So you can go ahead and then activate project 2. Let's just see project 2. In this particular case, now you're working on application 2. You would say source project 2. Now if you say pip list, it doesn't have much. Now you can say pip install, because this in this particular case we are making an assumption that this is going to be using the latest version of numpy, so you don't have to specify the numpy version. If you were to now look at that and say pip list, now it's now it's using numpy 1.22.2, so you can run your application using this. After you're done, you can either pip freeze it, pip freeze. Now just make sure that you are going to freeze this in the project 2 folder, not in the root directory as I did in the last time. I will fix that as soon as I'm done with this. So you have that. So you have I would like to move this requirements.txt into project 1 right there. And this is all there is to it about the Python virtual environment. One last thing is, if you were to use these kinds of environment, please do not store the project files within this folder, because these are meant to be used and throw. So store your project related source code elsewhere. Use this for creating the library, activate them, and hopefully this helped. If you have any questions, let me know on the discussion forum. Otherwise, have a good day.